Hey guys, today I got another guitar video. I know a lot of my subscribers are subscribed to me mainly for small engine, but I like to throw in a guitar or some other type of video from time to time. This project here is converting a 3 pickup Strat style guitar to a 5 pickup. I'm going to put a pickup between these two and another one between these. This is from a previous project. These are going to be 5 mini switches to control it. And the 5-way switch here is going to be like a tone selector. I'll go into more detail on that in a little bit. For right now, I'm just going to put a note in on the video here somewhere, giving you the time in the video that I do the demo of all the sounds on here. That way you can skip all the information, just go straight to that if you want to. Like I said, I got the 5 holes drilled out here from a previous project for little mini toggle switches to control each pickup individually. This is going to be a tone control, another tone, and a volume control. And the way this 5-way switch is going to be wired, I had several different ideas, but I'm trying to keep the cost down on this, and I'm going to use a standard Strat 5-way switch on here. When the switch is all the way down, it's going to be just a volume control and whatever pickup selected, and no tone controls. In the second position, it's going to be like a kill switch, shuts the guitar off. In the third position, it's going to be just this tone control with a .047 microfarad capacitor. Then in position 4 will be both tone controls on with any pickup selection. Then all the way up in position 5 will be just this tone control with a .1 microfarad capacitor. The position 4 with both tone controls probably won't have much use, but I was limited on what I could do with the standard 5-way switch. I was going to use a super 5-way switch, so it was all in this position 2. It would be putting the neck pickup out of phase, but this is more or less just an experiment because I'm just going to be using cheap stock ceramic magnet pickups in this. But if I like the sound of it and I think it's got potential, I'm going to wind 5 new pickups for it using analytical magnets. But for now, it's just a test, and it's going to be using 500K pots in it. Here's the back of the pick guard. I already laid it out where it's going to be routed. I got a cutout tool used for drywall and plastic. That's what I'm going to be using on this. And you can see the back here where I drilled everything out. But the what I'm going to be using is a square Strat here. I'll show it here in a little bit. And the current pickups, the bridge, middle, and the neck pickup, are going to be put right back into this pick guard. And I got 2 more ceramic pickups to put in the middle. If you notice, the second bridge pickup is in the top of it, and where the 6th string is, it's perfectly centered between the middle and the bridge at the top, and it's also perfectly centered between the middle and the bridge at the bottom. So it's at about a half of an angle as the bridge pickup sits. You can see the angle is different there. I did that mainly for looks. And this pickup here, the second middle or second neck pickup, is exactly between the neck and the middle. It's mainly for experimental purposes. If I don't like it, I'm just going to put the original pick guard that's on it now back into there and forget about it. But the first thing I'm going to do is drill out the 4 holes for the mounting on it. They give me kind of a guide, so in case the router jumps or something, I don't have to worry about getting into the mount, so I can try to keep control of that better. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to route on the inside of the lines, and I'm just going to file and sand to the line to get a good tight fit. And at some point I'll be showing the schematic for it that I'm using, plus an alternate schematic that I wanted to do, but I don't have the switch to do it right now. And here's the guitar I'm going to be using for this project. It's a Squire Affinity Strat in metallic blue. I've had it for several years, and I've kept everything original on it. And I'm going to be changing the switch, using a different one, because I don't like these stock switches. But for right now, I'm going to use the same potentiometers in here, and I'm going to use different capacitors. And these are stock ceramic magnet pickups. They're a little bit different than the ones that's going to go in between here. These 3 pickups read 4.8 k ohms, which is 4.8 thousand ohms, which is pretty weak for Strat pickups, but they actually have a real good sound for being stock ceramic pickups. So I may not have to change the pickups after all with Alnico, like I was saying. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. And the 2 I'm putting in here are going to be a little bit hotter than these. They're reading, one of them's reading 5.3, that's going to be here, and the other one's reading, I think, 5.8, that'll be here. That way I got 2 different bridge sounds, more or less. And this pick guard is going to be kept stock just like it is. Everything's going to be taken out of it. That way if it don't work, I can just bolt this right back on there with everything like it is and go back to how it is now. I am going to have to do some body routing around between here and here, because this is routed for HSH. It's not a swimming pool route. So if you're going to be doing this on the guitar, you have to have a swimming pool route. So you got room for all the pickups in it. And also, just for your reference, the body on this is alder. This is a stock bridge. It's got the cast saddles, and it has a zinc sustain block. I had that pick guard sitting around not doing anything, so I thought, well, it's got 5 holes for 5 switches. I was thinking about making a 5 pickup Strat, so I'll just cut 2 more slots in it and use it. That way it's getting used up finally. So, well, let's get started. The next thing you'll see is the pick guard routed and this guitar completely apart. And okay, guys, I got the whole guitar apart now. I was wrong on the routing. I thought this was a HSS or HSH routing, which it does. The humbucker would fit here, and humbucker and a single would fit here. But this is what I call a half a swimming pool. So I just got to cut these tabs out here, these little chunks here. Just got to route them out, so that ain't going to take much work at all to do that. I went ahead and took the bridge out and took the whole guitar completely apart, because I'm going to be stirring up a lot of dust here and it's going to get all over everything, and I can just wipe it down real good. And here's the stock pick guard and wiring, and it's actually not bad quality wiring. I mean, yeah, this is a little small, but it's not that bad. And here's the stock pickups. It's got a stock .047 capacitor in it. Now getting to the pickups here, this is the other pickup I got. You see these have a bar magnet on the bottom, which these do too, but they're built into the, they're flush with the base plate. And this is what Squire used to use. This came out of an older Squire. I'm not sure what year this is. I know it's a newer one because it's got the bigger headstock on it. This is what I'm going to be using in between the pickups, then the 2 extra pickups that's going in it. I am concerned about too much of a magnetic field causing dampening the strings, or causing the strings to sound like they're out of tune. If they are, I'll just lower the pickups to cut that down some. I'm also using pretty big strings, so that might help some. I usually use about 11/48 strings. Usually flat wound, which is probably what I'll be putting back on this. So when I put these in the other pick guard, these 3 are going back right in the same position as these. So I should get pretty much the same sound out of it, plus the 2 extra sounds. And it comes out to 31 total sound possibilities, so I'm going to show them all here, so that'll be pretty interesting to hear what it all sounds like. So, alrighty, it's the next day here, and I got the body routed out here pretty good. I got the pick guard routed out using the cutout tool. It's a little rough, as you can see, but I tried to file it by hand as much as I could, and I think it's good enough just for what I'm doing. I mean, if I had a router and templates, it'd be much better. It'd look just like these slots, the original 3. So that's where we're at now. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and mount the pickups and get all the electronics mounted. And I'll go ahead and talk about the schematic wiring I'm using here. It's I already talked about it briefly, what the 5-way switch is going to do. It's going to have individual switches for each pickup. So right now I'll put in the schematic of what I'm going to be using in this today. And if you notice towards the right, it has a green wire hooked between each switch. What that does is when all 5 switches are off, it shorts out and acts like a kill switch. So when you let go of the strings, it won't hum, which is very handy. But I'm actually not going to be doing that on this, because I'm using single pole double throw switches to use them up. And I have the double pole double throw switches. I'm using single pole because I ordered the wrong ones. These are actually sub miniature, and they're actually a little too small for guitar wiring, so I'm going to go ahead and get them used up. And another thing, if you look here, the tone control here in the middle is awful close to the switch here. And I already checked, since I'm using full size pots, I wouldn't have been able to use a double pole anyway. So if you're going to do this, you got to allow room for your switches here to do it right. The original wiring I used on this pickguard had push-pull on this, and it fit on there with regular poles, double pole switches. So, now the second schematic I'm going to put in right now is what I really wanted to do on this, using a super 5-way. That when the switch is all the way down, the guitar had a bass cut filter on there. Then in the second position, it threw the neck pickup out of phase, so you can get some out of phase sound with it. In the third position, it disabled the two tone controls. And in position 4, it was just this one with a .022 microfarad capacitor. Then in the top position, it was just this one with a .1 microfarad capacitor, and not this one. And this also enables the tone control to work on any of the 5 pickups with any combination, which is similar to what I'm doing with the first schematic, except it has the option to combine the 2 tone controls, which might make it sound more muffled or bassy, but it's there to experiment with, and that's basically what all this is. Getting the parts in here, then we'll look at it before I wire it up, then we'll look at it after it's wired. Alright guys, well I skipped a couple of steps there. I was going to show everything before I wired it, but I already went ahead and wired everything up. Got everything working, already tested. This is the 2 wires you're going to go to the output jack. I also tie in the bridge ground that goes to the string claw. Here's the back of it. I got the 5 pickups here. Looks like a complete mess here, and pretty much is. Also, I wanted to make a note on these capacitors I'm using. They're made by C-Core, and they're the same type of capacitor as orange drops are, except they're a lot cheaper. And the bottom tone controls are .047. I think I said 22 earlier, but I went with the 47 and a .1 like the old Strats used to have. And well guys, got it all done here and strung it up. I got 1149 round wound strings on here. I did have flat wounds on it, but they broke when I tried to put them back on, so I put a set of round wounds on. They're Fender 150s, what they are. They're pretty good strings, I like them. And the sound of it, I already tried it out. I'm actually a little disappointed on it. I thought there'd be more variation in sound, but there really ain't. Not that much. And I mean, you can get a few interesting sounds, don't get me wrong, but not nearly as many as I thought there would be. Like when you have more than 2 pickups on, the sound is just useless, more or less. And I was kind of thinking that this pickup and this pickup on at the same time might sound like a humbucker, and the same with these, but it don't. I do like how the switch is wired though. Alright, I'm going to give it a little bit of an update here. It's been a week since I put it together, and I probably played it 4 or 5 times since then to break the strings in and everything. I already recorded the sound samples. You can actually get some pretty interesting sounds out of it. My favorite sound is a bridge pickup, the one with this pickup. That's a great punchy sound, as you'll hear here in after a while. The 2 extra pickups are a little bit hotter than the 3 original pickups. Well, let's get to the sound sample. Now the first 5 sounds you'll hear is what you normally get with the 5-way switch on a normal Strat with 3 pickups. The bridge in the middle together, the middle and neck, and the neck. Then the next 2 sounds is going to be like on a 7-sound Strat. The bridge and the neck, which is a Telecaster sound, and the bridge, middle, and neck going all together. That way the first 7 sounds you'll hear is what you can get out of a normal or semi-normal Strat. Then the rest of it is all the combinations of it. All possible combinations of in-phase sounds. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the sound sample. I'm going to put in a picture right now as I'm talking of all the possible sound combinations. And for the sample, I'm just playing what I call a universal lick or riff. It's a blues lick riff that you hear in a lot of blues songs. I'm not a blues player. I'm a country player that plays a lot of old 50s and 60s country songs and stuff like that. So, but I couldn't come up with nothing else that would give a good example of how it sounds, so I went with that. And I can't play any actual songs on here unless it's something I wrote myself. So we're not doing any actual songs. We're just doing so we'll get right to that, and we'll start on the sample here. Alright guys, that's about it for this video. Let me know what you think about it and how it sounds and everything. And I'm thinking I'll probably end up putting the original pickguard back on this with the 3 original pickups back in it, because I like the way it sounds. And this is just, I pretty much did this just for the video and for future reference, in case I'm working on a guitar and want to do the pickups different. I got a more reference to how it'll sound, and it's more or less just an experimental / reference project for me and everybody else on here. And I'm probably going to put this in a couple of guitar forums too, because a lot of people like different things like this. Well guys, I guess that's about it. Thank you for watching and leaving comments and subscribing and everything. And if you leave a comment, I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.